Hi everyone, welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Mr. Ishan Jindal, who is the founder of Wobb.ai, which is a platform for marketers to find influencers and work with them. Hi Ishan, welcome to ELI.
Hi, Priya. Thank you so much for the warm welcome and for the quick introduction. It's a pleasure to be here and to talk with you and ELI and share our journey.
To start with, I would request you to introduce yourself to our audience in a very detailed way, and please do cover your background prior to entrepreneurship.
Okay, awesome. I'll try to be as detailed as possible. So a little bit about me. I'm an engineer by background.
Mhm,
I did my graduation from IT Delhi. During IIT, in fact, I was fairly entrepreneurial, so I was doing something or the other when I was at IIT. A
mhm.
couple of projects that I actually did take up uh, growing up in college. There was
Okay.
a mobile app that we built that could
Uh-huh.
automatically detect road accidents.
Okay.
We called it Safely Home. We launched it. We even saved the life of an individual
Mhm,
that had a lot of coverage and attention. We
mhm.
built a workforce management solution,
Okay.
uh, and that was taken up by a large company, and they implemented it in their own Indian division. Uh,
Okay.
and then I had a chance to open up a couple of QSR
Mhm.
in itself
Okay.
around the Italian cuisine. So I had certain entrepreneurial stints while I was at college, or you can say certain small level projects that I've done that even helped me generate bread and butter back then during my college studies itself. So entrepreneurship was very close to me right from the beginning.
Mhm,
And after that, fast forward, I did not directly jump into creating a startup right after my college. I
mhm.
decided to take up something on the flip side. So I worked as a investment analyst in a company
Okay.
where I evaluated different startups. This company was an angel network, and we basically, I think, during my tenure of about 2 odd years, invested in a few startups,
Mhm.
evaluated many, like about I don't know, perhaps 1,000 companies,
Okay.
and it was during my time at LA that I
Mhm,
figured out that this whole social media thing, the social commerce thing, and the influencer marketing thing
mhm.
was really booming, right? And it was
Right.
on a upward trend. A lot of my own portfolio companies, in fact, were using influencer marketing in different ways, and some of
Mm.
them had generated massive returns for themselves. This is
Okay.
back in 2019 when influencer marketing wasn't really like a normally used word, right? It was
Mm.
still something that people were getting a hang of. A lot of people
Okay.
wanted to try it out, and some of the companies we
Mhm,
were speaking for evaluation were actually doing it wonderfully, right? So a lot of our portfolio companies and companies we were speaking with will still confused how to use it, and there was not a lot of clarity on how to go about it. Who should we go? Should we reach out an agency? Should we reach out influencers directly? How does this work? What does the transaction look like? I think since then and now we've come a long way, but that really was the moment that piqued my interest in this industry and
mhm.
specifically influencers. And I started digging more into the entire space, and I started looking at companies. It's only when I started digging I realized that the industry has a lot of challenges today.
Okay.
uh, Doing influencer marketing is very different from, say, doing running an ad on digital
Mhm,
channel, right? And digital should largely be an easy means for you to run marketing on, right? It should
mhm,
fairly be simple. You go online, you run your marketing campaign, you set it up, you go live next day, and you know whether this is working or not. But that's not really the
mm.
case for influencer marketing.
Yeah.
There were so many challenges that we realized were happening on the influencer side and the brand side. Trust issues, were there. There were issues in finding influencers. There were issues in managing influencers at a large scale.
Mm.
So a law and transparency in pricing was completely missing. Nobody had no clue. People were charging completely erratic rates back then.
Mhm,
So there's so many issues uh, from both brand and influencer side, and we
mm.
realized the deeper got into it, that this industry is completely unorganized. It's a complete mess, and if we could streamline some of these things, perhaps we could help the industry grow better, because when you simplify in general influencer marketing, that is good, because then brands would want to spend more money because it's easy to do, and
Mm.
influencers would also get more business, because
Yeah.
since it's easy to conduct that, more and more influencers can be then reached out. So we had a very clear idea. Okay, you know what, this is a problem statement. Let's now find a company that solves this problem statement and
Mm-hmm.
invest in that company. Obviously, that point in time, I was thinking as an investor, because I was an investment analyst.
Okay.
So for about 6 odd months, I looked at different companies that
Mm.
could perhaps be solving the problems that we identified, which only grew. The list only grew bigger and bigger, and we sort of understood the complexity of the entire thing. So
Mm.
for 6 months, we could not actually, even after trying and speaking to most companies in India, we could not find any solution. We
Mm-hmm.
were fairly largely dominated by agencies, and certain players were there in the tech space as well, but they were not really solving the pain points that we felt are the biggest, right?
Mm.
And I will talk about some of those pain points going forward.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's after the 6 months journey, right? Is when I decided, ki chalo, we should, uh, we this problem is massive enough. We have to do it.
Mm.
So let's go and build it out ourselves. Okay.
Okay.
In between, right, when I was thinking, I was going through this phase of, should we build it? I should go and jump and do and build it. Your whole COVID thing happened, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
COVID did something which we would not or could not have imagined, right? When I was, exploring this. So it expedited a lot of things on digital real quick. Suddenly the banners were gone, right? People were not going outside. Suddenly the
Mm.
transactions happening online increased a lot. Social media spending increased a lot. A lot of people were stuck at their homes for months, right? They
Mm.
started creating content, covering content around topics that they love.
Yeah.
A huge push was given to this entire creator economy
Yeah.
space, right? And immediately, what we thought could happen perhaps a year or 2 year down the line started to happen in months, and that was like
Mm.
really the kicker point to uh, take a leap of faith and jump into building Wobb. And that's really how Wobb started. Just one line about Wobb as well. So,
Mm.
or perhaps couple of lines about Wobb. So Wobb is an
Yeah.
influencer marketing platform today. We are largely a self-serve platform.
Mm.
Right from starting to ending, you can run your influencer marketing campaigns. We basically built the company on the premise that obviously the larger goal is that creator economy means that creators will uh, end up building their own businesses. Creators will in itself will be much more, they'll be looked at different ways, right? Rather than just brand collaboration for influencer marketing, creators perhaps may create their own brands, and we started seeing a lot of these influencers are creating now even unicorn level companies. I think one
Mm.
creator perhaps did recently. So creators will end up doing that, right? They are in a way a business, a startup in themselves, and there is a huge power that will get unleashed over a period of time. But for us, we got this very clear idea where to start with, which was, today at this point in time, creator wants brand collaboration. Today at this
Mm.
point of time, brands want to utilize creator as largely a means to market and brand their products
Mm.
on social media channels. So influencer marketing is what we wanted to simplify when we jumped into it. Before, in the future, we could look into other avenues for creators income stream. So
Okay.
this is the sole premise we started with: simplify influencer marketing.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You simplify it, you make it simple, as easy as you are running a Facebook ad. Then you have built something that can be used at a large scale. Firstly, the whole thing becomes scalable because it's easy to use, so more and more people can use it, right? The barrier to entry reduces. Second,
Mm-hmm.
since it's easy to manage as well, you've simplified influencer marketing so much. If it works out for you, you can scale it at a very large level,
Right.
right? Whilst if you're doing with an agency, you can only go 20, 30, 50. After that 50 influencers, that agency will also say, I cannot, I need 30 days to run this campaign of yours. That is
Mm.
not scalable. Just to give you like a gist of what scalability could look like. Today at Wobb platform, we have brands that are running a campaign with 5,000 influencers in
Mm-hmm.
a month, right? Every month they are doing a 5,000 influencer campaign, pan India, right? So the scale that you can achieve now with, perhaps because Wobb exists, is so much that isn't like if you have to do the same thing manually of 5,000, you would need several agencies and an army of people doing this campaign for you. While this can be done purely self-serve without any additional or a lot of resources through the tech platform that we've created. So that's what really we mean by scalability. So we started with this very clear idea, and that's fundamentally what Wobb is. So Wobb is an influencer marketing platform that simplifies the whole process end to end for both brands and influencers. Brands come, create their requirements, sign up on Wobb dashboard, create their job posting or campaign posting. Once a campaign posting is created on Wobb platform, on the flip side, our influencers have their app. They look at those opportunities, they apply for the opportunities that excite them, and they can brands can then basically look at those applications in hundreds and thousands, and quickly using some very interesting filters, they can shortlist the right applications, go ahead and hire them based on their engagement metrics, which are all all these metrics that makes your decision making faster, are made available in a very simple dashboardic form to everyone. You hire people and you can basically manage all your influencers through the dashboard itself without having to ever leave that portal for anything, right? So your entire end-to-end hiring happens on the platform, managing happens on the platform. In managing, I want to specifically talk about one thing which had largely led, but I mean, we can talk about it later also, but one of the things that have largely that could not make it possible for platforms to do it, become a viable solution for influencer marketing till date or before Wobb, was because of the fact that when you're working in influencer marketing, you're having a lot of influencers that you have to manage. It's like you're hiring someone, but you're hiring someone for a small work, but you're not hiring one person. You're hiring perhaps 50 of them, 100 of them, 200 of them. You know how hard it is to manage one person when you hire them. When you hire like 100 lot, 200 lot, 500 lot, now at our scale, even a 5,000 lot, it is very difficult for one marketing manager to coordinate with all those influencers and say, तुझे ये करना है, तुझे ये करना है, तेरे content में ये गलती है, content revision को इसको सुधार, ऐसा कर. So this whole management becomes extremely hard, and this is where the agency played a very critical role of becoming an intermediary between the brand and an influencer. Now the agency comes in between and says, यार तुम मत करो, तुम मुझे allocate कर दो, मैं दो और छोटी-छोटी agencies allocate करेगा या freelancers सबको divide करेगा, and we will basically look at all, and this becomes like a pyramid scheme where this guy pays a huge amount of money and it trickles down to the influencer. Largely the money that goes down is very, very little to the influencer. That's an issue because intermediary takes a lot of value from the pyramid, right? Now, but at the same time, the intermediaries are adding actual value for the brands, because brand doesn't want to handle, it's a nightmare to handle 100, 200, 500 people. So in a way, intermediaries were adding a lot of value. So one of the things that we wanted to make sure we do at Wobb was to make the whole platform independent of the need to have an intermediary. So disintermediation was very important for us, and that's what we've achieved with our platform as well, which is another problem that I think Wobb is currently working on. Today on Wobb platform, our brands are able to interact with all the influencers participating in a campaign in a single chat window, and for them it feels like as if they're talking to one agency, right, or one person, because every feedback they have to give, they can just give it there. They want to give it to you, they can just give it to you. They want to give it to 5 people, they can just mark it there, isko ye feedback de do, right? So the whole chat experience, whatever brands used to do with an agency on a WhatsApp group, that whole experience has been taken and put it there itself, with advantages like never before. First, pyramid scheme नहीं है तो सारा का सारा आपको एक अफोर्डेबिलिटी आपकी बढ़ जाती है, क्योंकि वो बीच वाले लेयर रिड्यूस हो जाएंगे. नंबर 2, आपका जो लैग था कि मैंने ब्रांड ने एजेंसी को भेजा, एजेंसी ने फ्रीलांसर को भेजा, फ्रीलांसर ने इन्फ्लुएंसर को भेजा, वो खत्म हो गया. फ्राइडे को भेज रहे हो, ट्यूसडे को पहुंच रहा है, ट्यूसडे को भेज रहे हो, फ्राइडे को आ रहा है, गॉन. इंस्टेंटली व्हेन यू गेट अ फीडबैक, आपने इन्फ्लुएंसर को एंगेज किया, उसने कंटेंट बनाया, कंटेंट बनाने के बाद उसमें आपको 4 चेंजेस करने हैं ब्रांड को, क्योंकि कंटेंट गाइडलाइन पे नहीं है, तो आप मंडे को भेज के वेडनेसडे तक का वेट नहीं करना आपको कि वो पहुंचेगा फीडबैक, इंस्टेंटली पहुंच जाएगा वो फीडबैक, राइट? सो इन अ वे यू आर डायरेक्टली कनेक्टेड, ट्रांसपेरेंसी है, right? और ट्रांसपेरेंसी फर्दर बोल्डन्स द फैक्ट कि यार यहाँ प्राइसिंग बहुत अफोर्डेबल है और ट्रांसपेरेंसी मेंटेन कर रहे हैं, मतलब एक्चुअली आई एम लेस वरिड, राइट? कि पता नहीं कितना इन्फ्लुएंसर को जा रहा है, मे बी आई कुड हैव पेड लेस, मे बी सो ऑल ऑफ दोस क्वेश्चंस कंप्लीटली गो अवे. नाउ सेकंड बिगेस्ट बेनिफिट इज, एक तो लैग खत्म हो रहा है, बट सेकंड जो फीडबैक है उसमें कोई लीकेज ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं है. मैंने आपको कुछ बताया, आप कुछ समझे, आपने आगे कुछ बताया, वो कुछ और समझा. तो जो कंटेंट रिविजन होती है जब तुम काम करते हो, लाइक तुम प्रेफर करते हो कि मैं इस बंदे के साथ काम कर रहा हूँ तो मैं डायरेक्ट करूँ ताकि मैं समझा पाऊँ उसको कि क्या कर रहा हूँ. जितने लेयर्स आप ऐड करोगे, आप एक बंदे को समझा रहे हो, वो किसी और को समझा रहा है, वो किसी और को समझा रहा है, उस काम की सेम क्वालिटी निकल पाना बहुत मुश्किल है, right? Because there is a leakage of information at every stage.
Correct. Lost in
Now what
translation.
happens with this? Correct. Intermediation में क्या होता है, ये feedback of the content passes as on to the influencer, right? चाहे 5,000 influencer है, सबको वो feedback immediately direct पहुंच जाएगा. तो intermediation पे हमने बहुत focus किया.
Okay.
And basically we got certain such things right that were becoming a bottleneck for a platform to succeed. Right? Today in fact we can proudly say, अगर आप एक step backward लो, right? It is not really just a problem for brands. जो पहले होता था, जिसके लिए ब्रांड पेमेंट कर रहा था एजेंसी को, यार मेरे को नहीं संभालना है, तुम संभालो, आई डोंट वांट टू हैंडल दिस होल थिंग, यू हैंडल दिस. आई एम नॉट श्योर इफ हिंदी इज अ कंफर्टेबल लैंग्वेज फॉर योर ऑडियंस.
Absolutely, yeah. Other Indians.
तो नहीं, ठीक है, बढ़िया है. आई थॉट मे बी यू स्टिक टू अ सर्टेन, ऑल आर इंडियंस, आई शुड ऑब्वियसली नोट दैट. चलो तो मैं हिंदी में बात करूंगा. तो जितना भी एक 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 अगर हम एक स्टेप पीछे लेते हैं ना, तो एक स्टेप पीछे लेने के बाद हम ये भी देखेंगे इसमें कि पिछले वाले केस में विदाउट वॉब जो एजेंसीज को ट्रांसफर हो रहा था काम, उस केस में प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं करी थी इन्होंने, उसमें प्रॉब्लम ट्रांसफर करी थी.
Okay.
तो मतलब इंटरमीडिएशन का प्रॉब्लम था कि मैं 100 बंदे नहीं संभाल सकता हूँ या 1000 बंदे नहीं संभाल सकता हूँ. तो उसका कोई सोल्यूशन नहीं निकाला किसी ने. उसने बोला तू एजेंसी है, तू संभाल, राइट? एजेंसी बोला चल ठीक है, मेरे को पैसा मिल रहा है. तो वो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो गई. वो सॉल्व हुई कैसे? बाय ट्रांसफरिंग दैट प्रॉब्लम टू द नेक्स्ट पार्टी. बट व्हाट वी डूइंग is we are solving that problem. What that happened, what was the benefit of doing that to us? आज के टाइम पे lot of agencies started using us, क्योंकि उनके लिए तो प्रॉब्लम रहा ना. वो उनके लिए भी ऐसा तो है नहीं कि this human is a superhuman, the agency वाला. He also, it's hard for him to manage 1,000 people, 500 people, 100 people. And for him it became immediately easy when they started using Wobb to manage all their influencers. So he or she, वो आके अपने प्लेटफॉर्म पे अभी कैंपेन्स करने लग गए. सो ये चीज हमने अभी रिसेंटली ये फिनोमेना हमने बहुत देखा अपने प्लेटफॉर्म कि एजेंसीज हैव स्टार्टेड साइनिंग अप. बहुत सारी एजेंसीज कैंपेन आज वॉब पे रन करती है और रिक्वायरमेंट्स ले लेते हैं ब्रांड से. वो अपना बीडी पे फोकस करते हैं, सेल पे फोकस करते हैं, कंटेंट साइड पे फोकस करते हैं. क्या अ लॉट ऑफ दीज एजेंसीज आर, ये होता है ना आपका डिजिटल मार्केटिंग फुल स्टैक. हम वी आर अ वेरी नीश इन्फ्लुएंसर मार्केटिंग कंपनी, बट अ लॉट ऑफ एजेंसीज आर डिजिटल मार्केटिंग. वो एसईओ भी कर देंगे, वो आपका ऐड भी कर देंगे. तो वो इन्फ्लुएंसर मार्केटिंग का एग्जीक्यूशन पीस छोड़ के दे कैन फोकस ऑन देयर अदर पीसेस मोर, एंड एग्जीक्यूशन पीस दे हैंडल विद वॉब. सो दिस इज अ फिनोमेना दैट्स हैपनिंग अ लॉट टुडे. तो आज के टाइम पे बहुत ब्रांड्स और एजेंसीज इस तरह से वॉब को यूज कर रही है. तो दैट्स अ लिटिल बिट अबाउट इट. मतलब लिटिल बिट तो नहीं, बहुत ज्यादा हमने बात कर ली है. So the stage is yours for any questions that you may have.
Yeah. One thing I am curious to know, मेरे mind में ये है कि I was using Upwork, and what happens in Upwork is when you like a freelancer, what you do is you connect offline, and क्या होता है ना, Upwork को एक certain commission जाता है from the money that you will be paying to the a freelancer, and you want to bypass that. It's around 15-20%. So बहुत बार ऐसा होता है कि people connect directly and then start the relationship bypassing the platform. So आपके case में भी I think that is possible. Let's say there is a brand which is having a good interaction with the influencer, and they're getting good ROI, and subsequently they just want to bypass the platform. How do you have any modules to avoid that?
No, that's a very valid question, Priya. Let me share my thoughts on this. Okay, how I see personally this problem of this happens across all marketplaces, and you've actually picked up a very good parallel. Upwork and Fiverr perhaps could be a very good
Yeah.
parallel for us to be compared with, rather than comparing with us with agencies, because largely that is where we are, right? We are an Upwork for influencer marketing.
Right.
The only difference being Upwork may, it's easier to take the transaction sideways, okay?
Mm.
And there is more intent and motivation to do it. The reason being, आप वहां पे एक बंदे को हायर कर रहे हो, या ग्राफिक डिजाइनर को कर रहे हो, या आप किसी को कर रहे हो, आप एक ही बंदे के साथ लार्जली काम करते हो एक टाइम पे, आपने 5
Mm.
हायर कर लिए, 2 हायर कर लिए, बट जब आप इन्फ्लुएंसर मार्केटिंग करते हो, आप उसी चीज को स्केल कर देते हो 100 टाइम्स।
Mm.
आप 100 इन्फ्लुएंसर्स को हायर कर रहे हो, तो अब आपको अगर ट्रांजैक्शन को आउटसाइड प्लेटफॉर्म लेके जाना है, आउटसाइड नेटवर्क लेके जाना है,
Mm.
तो आपको 100 लोगों को रीच आउट करना पड़ेगा, एक को नहीं रीच आउट
Okay.
करना पड़ेगा, और 100 लोगों को अलग मैनेज करना पड़ेगा।
Mm.
सेकेंडली, जो अपवर्क का बेनिफिट है वो बहुत अच्छा है कि वो डिस्कवर करवा रहा है, आप फ्रीलांसर फटाफट हायर कर सकते हो। सेम वॉब में भी है, राइट?
Mm.
मैनेज कर सकते हो, हायर कर सकते हो। माइलस्टोन्स है हमारे भी यहाँ पर कि आप माइलस्टोन सेटअप करो, उनका टास्क में
Mm.
माइलस्टोन के हिसाब से उनको पेमेंट करो, डिफरेंट डिफरेंट तरह के प्लग एंड प्ले पे आउट। सो इट्स फेयरली सिमिलर दैट वे।
Mm.
द ओनली डिफरेंस बीइंग अपवर्क इज मेड फॉर अ 1-to-1 इंटरेक्शन,
Right.
राइट? तो 1-to-1 इंटरेक्शन ईज करता है वो, बट
Mm.
1-to-1 इंटरेक्शन वैसे भी बहुत ज्यादा डिफिकल्ट नहीं होती है, मैं व्हाट्सएप पे कर सकता हूँ।
Mm.
इंटरेक्शन डिफिकल्ट कब होती है? जब 1-to-many हो। अब वो मैं
Mm.
व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप पे नहीं कर सकता हूँ, बिकॉज द मोमेंट आई क्रिएट व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप्स, मेरे बाकी सारी पार्टीज को पता लग जाएगा कि यार ये ये वाला बंदा भी काम कर रहा है, ये भी काम कर रहा है,
Mm.
चेक कर
Mm.
लेते हैं इसको कितना मिल रहा है रेट, राइट? सो दैट
Right.
कॉन्फिडेंशियलिटी गोज अवे। तो हमारे
Right.
चैनल में जो चैट चैनल है उसमें पता नहीं कर सकते तुम और कौन पार्टिसिपेट कर रहा है। सो देयर
अच्छा।
आर सम सर्टेन सच ब्यूटीज अराउंड इट
Got
दैट
it.
इज देयर इन आवर चैट और इन आवर प्लेटफॉर्म। तो
Mm.
पहले तो द ट्रांजैक्शन, द वैल्यू,
Mm.
अपवर्क में मेजर वैल्यू इज डिस्कवरी, कि मेरे को मिल गया बंदा।
अच्छा।
हमारे वाले में वो वैल्यू डजंट फिनिश देयर। डिस्कवरी इज अ बिग चैलेंज बिकॉज यू टू डिस्कवर मेनी पीपल, बट दैट वैल्यू keeps on getting added even when you are hiring and managing, क्योंकि managing is also a big task.
Mm.
Managing one person is easier, managing 100 people is harder. तो
Mm.
एक तो वो प्रॉब्लम, वो चीज है।
Mm.
अभी डू वी पर्सनली फील लाइक कि वो नहीं होगा, कि ब्रांड साइडवे जाएगा पैसा बचाने के लिए परसेंटेज कमीशन? वैसे तो बहुत ज्यादा कमीशन चार्ज नहीं करते हम।
Mm.
राइट नाउ इट्स एट 10%, दैट इज ऑल्सो चार्ज टू इन्फ्लुएंसर्स,
Okay.
कि उनकी अर्निंग पे जो 10% बनता है वो हम एज अ मार्केट प्लेस रेट है या ट्रांजैक्शन हमारे।
Mm.
अब कुछ ब्रांड्स होंगे जो सेपरेटली जाएंगे, ठीक
Yeah.
है? इन्फ्लुएंसर को इंस्टाग्राम पे डीएम कर सकते हैं, ये रीच कर सकते हैं कि यार तुम हमारे साथ डायरेक्ट काम कर लो, ठीक है?
Mm.
10% बचेगा तुम्हारा या हमारा या जैसे भी है,
Mm.
डायरेक्ट काम करते हैं, प्लेटफॉर्म को बाईपास करते हैं।
Mm.
अब इसमें हमारा जो थोड़ा थिंकिंग है वो स्लाइटली डिफरेंट है। मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि एट दिस पॉइंट इन टाइम मेरे को इस प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व नहीं करना है।
Mm.
जो छोटे छोटे लेवल पे करेंगे ब्रांड्स, 10 इन्फ्लुएंसर, 5 इन्फ्लुएंसर, लार्जली वही प्रॉब्लम को वही सेपरेटली करेंगे। 1000 को रीच आउट करना भी कोई मुश्किल आसान काम नहीं होगा।
Mm.
मुझे इसलिए ये लगता है कि इस प्रॉब्लम को मैं सॉल्व नहीं करना है, क्योंकि अभी के पॉइंट इन टाइम पे हमारे पास बहुत बड़े बड़े दूसरे प्रॉब्लम्स है जो हम सॉल्व
Yeah.
करेंगे एज अ स्टार्टअप। सेकंड, एज अ मार्केट प्लेस वी एडेड, इसमें 3 पार्टीज है, एक हम है, एक इन्फ्लुएंसर है और एक ब्रांड है।
Mm.
हमने जब ये प्लेटफॉर्म शुरू किया था, हमने इस ऑब्जेक्टिव से किया था कि ब्रांड को हेल्प करना है, इन्फ्लुएंसर को हेल्प करना है।
Mm.
जब ये प्रॉब्लम हो रही है लीकेज में, इसमें ब्रांड भी हेल्प हो रही है, ब्रांड को, इन्फ्लुएंसर को भी हो रही है हेल्प।
Okay.
हमारा थोड़ा नुकसान है कि हमें वो हमारा हिस्सा नहीं मिलता 10%, बट वी आर फाइन विद इट, ठीक है?
Mm.
हम नहीं कमा रहे, कोई बात नहीं, पर ब्रांड को इन्फ्लुएंसर मिल गया, इन्फ्लुएंसर को वैल्यू मिल गई हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म से, वो फिर भी दोबारा आएंगे। उनको न्यू
Mm.
इन्फ्लुएंसर चाहिए, ब्रांड आएगा, यार चल ठीक है एक और बार डाल लेते हैं, फिर साइड से रीच कर लेंगे।
Yeah.
If that small thing gives them happiness, and at least most importantly simplifies influencer marketing, हमारा आधा काम हो गया, ठीक
Mm.
है? फिर हम बाद में सोच सकते हैं कि लीकेजेस कैसे प्लग करनी है, बट
Mm.
अभी हमारे लिए वो इतना कंसर्न नहीं है। हम कोई इसको बहुत ज्यादा ट्रैक नहीं करते हैं, अगर हमें पता भी लग जाता है वी ट्राई एंड इट्स फाइन, मतलब हम अवॉइड ही करते हैं। हमें we basically do not try put any penalties or sorts like these Fiverr
अच्छा।
and Upwork platforms too, क्योंकि एक लेवल पे वैल्यू एडिशन हो गया, हमारा जॉब हो गया, वो आपका एग्जिस्टेंस का जो गोल है वो कंप्लीट हो गया, एक तरह से हाफ कंप्लीट हो गया। मैनेजमेंट में उन्होंने हेल्प नहीं ली प्लेटफॉर्म की, वो लेते तो और सिंप्लीफाई हो जाता उनका काम, सारी उनकी
Mm.
डेटा एक जगह रहती। कल उनको जो कंटेंट सबमिटेड था के देखना है, अपने कंटेंट को रीयूज करना है एड में या कहीं पे सोशल मीडिया पे, they could have done it very simply rather than keeping a tab and track on Excel sheets and WhatsApp groups and whatnot.
Okay.
But again, like I said, problem that we are not too worried about. It impacts just us and not the brands and influencers so much.
Okay. Got you. अगला क्वेश्चन जो माइंड में आ रहा है, सो व्हेन आई सी एनी मार्केट प्लेस बिजनेस, they have a demand side, they have a supply side, and it's always a chicken and egg problem. uh,
Yeah,
अगर चिकन नहीं होगा तो एग नहीं आएगा, एग नहीं होगा तो चिकन नहीं आएगा. And so
yeah.
when you don't have any substantial amount of brands with you, the influencers will not come and vice versa. So आपने वो वाला challenge कैसे solve किया? How did you onboard substantial number of users to your platform, or entities, if you will, to your platform? And अभी क्या scale है?
तो जो आपका क्वेश्चन है बहुत वैलिड है, सभी मार्केट प्लेसेस में ये होता है, विच इज कॉल्ड, इसको, इस कॉन्सेप्ट को हम एटलीस्ट इंटरनली मार्केट प्लेस हम लिक्विडिटी बोलते हैं. तो लिक्विडिटी इज बेसिकली मैचिंग द सप्लाई एंड डिमांड एट ऑल पॉइंट्स इन टाइम, फॉर द रीजन दैट यू सेड, कि अगर सप्लाई विच इज आर इन्फ्लुएंसर वो होगा बट उसके लिए डिमांड नहीं होगी तो वो प्लेटफॉर्म छोड़ के भाग जाएगा, इसको काम नहीं मिलेगा. तो सिमिलरली अगर डिमांड है और इन्फ्लुएंसर नहीं है तो सेम प्रॉब्लम होगा, राइट? डिमांड विल आल्सो लीड. तो मार्केट प्लेस लिक्विडिटी बहुत एक इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है, राइट? तो इसको कैसे टैकल कर सकते हैं आप? हम बेसिकली फोकस थोड़ा ज्योग्राफी स्पेसिफिक कर लेते हैं, या ये ज्योग्राफी पे हमें अभी जाना है, या ये प्लेटफॉर्म्स अभी हमें करने हैं, हमें सिर्फ इंस्टाग्राम इन्फ्लुएंसर्स करने हैं, यूट्यूब करना है, अभी टेलीग्राम ट्विटर नहीं करना है, लिंक्डइन नहीं करना है. सो यू कैन वर्क ऑन दैट एरियाज, कि यार आई वांट टू फोकस ऑन अ कैटेगरी which is say fitness, finance, food, whatever category works for you, and focus on the brands, onboarding brands on these categories first and foremost. So you can do geography, category specific. A lot of people, we were thinking of doing follower specific also, कि यार सिर्फ नैनो माइक्रो भी करते हैं, बड़े नहीं करते हैं, या मिड वाले नहीं करते हैं. then that we felt like is not a very good idea, because जिसको करना है, जिस ब्रांड को करना है, उसको हो सकता है मैक्रो भी करना हो, माइक्रो भी करना हो. तो एक कैटेगरी जो पकड़ रहे हो उसमें सारे रेंज के इन्फ्लुएंसर्स कर सकते हो. But you can still, the idea should be to divide it into smaller pieces and focus on those smaller pieces. उसमें से कुछ भी एक चीज पकड़ के बिल्ड करना शुरू कर दो, सप्लाई बिल्ड करना शुरू कर दो या डिमांड बिल्ड करना शुरू कर दो. आपके पास 5 ब्रांड आएंगे, आपकी एक टीम या 2 लोग आपके बैठ के आप खुद ही थोड़ा सा पुश करोगे, धक्के धक्के खाओगे, इधर उधर जाओगे, आउटरीच करोगे, तो आपके इन्फ्लुएंसर्स भी उस एरिया में आने शुरू हो जाएंगे. इफ इट्स वेरी वेरी फोकस्ड अप्रोच, राइट? आपके पास बहुत सारे इन्फ्लुएंसर आ गए, मान लीजिए सडन बर्स्ट ऑफ इन्फ्लुएंसर हैज कम इन अ पर्टिकुलर कैटेगरी, आप उस एरिया में अपना थोड़ा आउटरीच एफर्ट ब्रांड साइड पे बढ़ा दो, कि यार हमारे पास ये इन्फ्लुएंसर नेटवर्क है, आप आओ, लेवरेज करो और यूज करो, राइट? सो दैट्स बेसिकली हाउ यू मेंटेन मार्केट प्लेस लिक्विडिटी. इट्स नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम दैट यू कैन सॉल्व, लाइक it's a continuous journey, right? And it will never be solved perhaps. I think even the largest of the largest marketplaces will still be ensuring कि यार उनकी supply और demand, जो कैटेगरी या लिस्टिंग ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स उनके बिकते हैं, वो उन प्रोडक्ट्स को लेके आए बार बार और उस प्रोडक्ट्स की लिस्ट को रिफ्रेश करते जाए. ठीक है, कि ये चल रहा है, ये नहीं चल रहा है. जो वैरायटीज हैं, ये कैटलॉगिंग का जो काम रहता है बड़े बड़े मार्केट प्लेसेस में स्टिल रहेगा, राइट? बिकॉज यू वांट टू मेक श्योर दैट द इन्वेंटरी इज अवेलेबल for whatever product, for whatever demand is available, right? जिस डिमांड की प्रेजेंस है, उस डिमांड की कॉरस्पॉन्डिंग उसको फुलफिल करने के लिए वो इन्वेंट्री होनी चाहिए. तो एक कंटिन्यूअस जर्नी है, वो स्केल चेंज होती रहेगी. मे बी हम 10,000 इन्फ्लुएंसर्स को मैच कर रहे हैं, फिर गोइंग फॉरवर्ड हम 1 मिलियन इन्फ्लुएंसर्स को उसी के कॉरस्पॉन्डिंग स्केल्ड ब्रांड्स के साथ मैच करने की कोशिश करेंगे. तो इट्स अ नेवर एंडिंग प्रॉब्लम. एंड आई थिंक make it piece by piece and then go for either one side. Build it out, एक साइड बना लो, दूसरी साइड को मैनुअल रखो थोड़ी देर और आउटरीच कर करके अपना काम करो, and then eventually you can once you have a sufficient network. The good thing with influencer is एक बार आपके पास एक नेटवर्क आ गया 5,000 इन्फ्लुएंसर का फूड में, अब आप जितनी मर्जी स्केल करते रहो, राइट? आपकी लार्ज नंबर ऑफ रिक्वायरमेंट्स इस 5,000 के नेटवर्क से कंप्लीट हो जाएगी, राइट? मोर द मेरियर, बट एटलीस्ट एक बेस क्रिटिकल थ्रेशोल्ड, क्रिटिकल इन्वेंटरी जिसको आप बोल सकते हो, वो आपके पास है, तो आपके काफी नीड्स फुलफिल हो जाएंगे. उसमें आप मल्टीपल वेराइटीज डाल सकते हो, जैसे आपकी टी शर्ट है, मल्टीपल प्रिंट्स डाल सकते हो, साइजेस परहैप्स इज अ क्रिटिकल एस्पेक्ट, बट मल्टीपल प्रिंट्स डाल सकते हो और वो सब डाल सकते हो, तो आपकी सेल्स और इंप्रूव होंगी क्योंकि वेराइटी और अवेलेबल है. बट आई थिंक दैट्स लार्जली हाउ वी थिंक अबाउट इट. नाउ एज फार एज द नंबर्स आर कंसर्न, हम कुछ 850 ब्रांड्स के साथ काम करते हैं अभी इस टाइम पे, ब्रांड्स एंड एजेंसीज कंबाइंड. So far we've done close to 5,000 campaigns. हमारे कुछ कैंपेन्स बहुत लार्ज स्केल पे रहते हैं, जैसे 5-5 हजार इन्फ्लुएंसर कैंपेन ट्रांजैक्शंस रहती हैं, जैसे कि बहुत सारे हमारे ब्रांड्स हैं जिन पे I don't know if I can take names, but बहुत सारे हमारे brands ऐसे हैं जिनका average 1000-2000 per महीने का तो रहता ही रहता है, right? They either do a barter campaign where they're sending out products. They are
Okay.
all doing a product refund campaign कि यार तुम खरीद लो, कहीं से भी खरीद लो, Amazon से खरीद लो, we'll refund you. या फिक्स पे होता है जिसमें आप कैश दे देते हो एक फिक्स्ड अमाउंट कि यार I'll pay you 3000 rupees, मेरे को 1000 लोगों के साथ काम करना. We also brought in something called like a performance based, right? Now finance companies में आपका ये cost per deposit, cost per तो ये सब हमारे performance based campaigns भी होते हैं. So largely multiple varieties of campaigns we do, and इसमें we are able to uh, do a scale on an average of 1000-1200 per brand. 5000 transactions so far, and on the influencer side we've engaged with close to 156,000 such influencers in India so far.
Gotcha. So I had many
Yeah.
more questions for you, but in the interest of time,
But time is up.
yeah, time is up. So I'll just limit it to one.
But you only told me हाँ कि detail में करो, तो मैंने अभी detail में करा सभी
Yeah,
चीज
it was
को
very
answer,
detailed.
तो मेरी गलती नहीं है इसमें. हाँ
So
ठीक है. हाँ जी,
just one more question, last question, and very briefly answer it, 1 or 2 sentences. What is the meaning of entrepreneurship for you? How would you define the term entrepreneur?
Okay. Now this one is tricky, right? Because I don't really think about entrepreneurship मतलब as a word के point of view से मैं ऐसा नहीं सोचता हूँ. But like in what context are you saying? Like थोड़ा सा context दोगे what entrepreneurship means for me, या
Yeah,
what
how would you
kind of work
define
does
that
an
term?
entrepreneur do?
What kind of person an entrepreneur is, and yeah, if you define it by work, you can, or by approach, or however you want to define.
Okay. So let me rephrase the question first so that I understand. What kind of a person an entrepreneur is की जगह मैं बोलूँगा what kind of an entrepreneur I feel like I am, या फिर मतलब I don't know, I don't want to generalize the answer here, but मेरे हिसाब से a lot about entrepreneurship या जो हम कर रहे हैं, let's call it धंधा बनाना या entrepreneurship is largely trying to solve a problem that you personally feel कि यार ये तो solve होनी चाहिए, मतलब इसमें तो कोई doubt ही नहीं है.
Okay.
And then for me it's a continuous effort, it's a lot of persistence on a daily basis. Like it's not like, and you would basically have to enjoy the journey. And अगर आपको है ना ये problem in your heart कि यार ये तो solve होनी चाहिए, then you will be persistent and you're not worried about the kind of valuations, or we are a funded company, we don't really care about it honestly. But ऐसे जितने भी आपके valuation games आप इससे बाहर निकल जाओगे, क्योंकि it's up or down, and especially because it's a roller coaster ride for an entrepreneur, right? Some days are very good, yeah, you feel like ये तो मैं कर ही दूंगा, मतलब ये तो मैं ही करूंगा, and other days you feel like यार ये मैं क्यों कर रहा हूँ अपनी जिंदगी में. तो you go through those emotions, and for you to just know कि this is something that I feel passionate about, that is very important. मेरे को ये करना है, और वो persistence बहुत important है. So for entrepreneurship for me is a lot about persistence towards something, a goal, a common goal that you have, and working towards it, that could positively impact people, add value to their lives, and eventually that value should be material enough that they pay you for it so that you can build a sustainable business out of it.
Gotcha.
And most important is yaar, matlab just think about like the journey, right? Like oftentimes we as entrepreneurs feel like yaar, even today after a year and a half of the journey at Wobb, when things go south, we start like saying यार ये क्यों है, ऐसा क्यों कर रहे हैं हम. We keep forgetting how far we've come, right? For us, even at Wobb, we've come a long way today. We are doing huge number of transactions, huge volume of business. We have a very good name in the country when it comes to influencer marketing, one of the top platforms and top companies, delivering quality work and work at that scale. So forgetting all of that is very easy. So sometimes you just have to take a break and pat on your back and say, "Yeah, I've done great. Let's keep moving on and keep keep working towards it." And even if it's not working out, right? In our case, fortunately things have worked out. हम पहुंचे हैं, so we can look at our journey and pat on our back. Even
Okay.
if things are not working out, it's fine, yaar. You should not stop. You should remember आपने शुरू क्यों किया था, right?
Mhm.
You did not start to leave it when you started it. You were like full confident तो करना है. And if it's not working out, pivot yaar, do something else. Maybe the market is not there. But if you keep doing persistently, building something that adds value,
Mhm.
it is just mostly bound to happen कि वो हो ही जाएगा यार. अब पहले में नहीं होगा, दूसरे टाइम में होगा, तीसरे में होगा. And that is largely what entrepreneurship is. It's a way of living.
Mhm.
It's just it doesn't it cannot be associated with a startup.
Okay.
It is just how you really think about building things and adding value, and persistently doing that, as persistence will be required for you to build and scale anything. Wasn't really brief, but hopefully I could convey my thoughts on this, or at least how I think about it.
So time is up actually. Thanks for your time, Ishan.
नहीं नहीं,
And
बहुत बढ़िया. Thank you so much, Priya, for your time. It was lovely speaking with you. And we should definitely, आप ये recording बंद कर दो, but we should definitely chat up
yeah,
separately on your work, and also let's see if we can use some of your वो आपने बताया था आप जिस company में काम करते हो. We're actually looking to avail some of those services. I hope this doesn't go in the recording part though.
yeah,
But yeah,
I'll
thank you so much for your time. And finally, we could make it after 2-3 attempts.